what's going on? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Ryan. Today I'm going to do some pulled pork for you guys on the Yoder YS640. What I'm going to do is an easy coleslaw. We're going to do some pulled pork sandwiches and a mustard-based barbecue sauce. So let's get to it.
Alright, so we got our pork butt right here. This is a little under 9 pounds. All we're going to do is trim this up, get it ready for the smoker and season it up. So on the side of the pork butt, you can see there's a blade bone right there. I use that as my guide to tell when the pork is done. Basically, the meat's going to pull away from the bone, then you can tell it's ready to be pulled. If you want to use a temperature probe, you're looking for an internal temperature of 200 to 205 degrees. And right here, I'm trimming away the majority of the fat cap, and I know that freaks a lot of people out, but my logic behind that is there's so much fat running through the meat that it's incredibly hard to dry out, so I don't even worry about it. I know a lot of people like to leave it on. Most people actually like to leave it on. Also, as far as cooking it fat cap up or fat cap down, honestly, in my opinion, it doesn't even matter. Unless you're using a vertical type smoker like a barrel or a Kamado type cooker, then I would leave it fattier side down. But yeah, like I said, it doesn't even matter to me because I have an offset smoker. I got that pellet cooker that I'm just gonna throw it in and it should be good. All right, so as far as the rub goes, I'm using kind of an all-purpose rub to start out. I got 2 tablespoons of kosher salt. I'm just doing 1 tablespoon each of granulated garlic and some onion powder. Then I'm using olive oil for a binder. I'm just gonna coat both sides. And then I'm gonna do 1 layer of the all-purpose rub. Make sure you get all sides of the pork butt. I'm gonna put a little bit of fresh ground pepper on there and then use Killer Hogs BBQ rub as the main rub for the whole pork butt. All right, so I got the smoker at 275. It kind of fluctuates a little bit, 10-15 degrees. If you're wondering what temperature you should cook at, a good rule of thumb is just keep it between 225 and 275. You really don't want to go over 275 because then it's too hot and you want it to let it go low and slow. I'm gonna spritz this every 45 minutes to an hour with apple cider vinegar. And for the first 2 hours, I'm just gonna let it sit there and absorb smoke. I'm not really even gonna touch it. So that's that.
Also, keep in mind, a common mistake a lot of people make when you're first learning pulled pork is you don't give it enough time to cook all the way. I know I made this same mistake. Let's say you get your cooker up to 250 degrees. You really don't have any guidelines on what you're doing because you're just learning. You let it sit on there for about 6 hours. You take it off and then it's tough and you think you overdid it. When actually the opposite is true. What you need to do is you need to let it sit on there, let the connective tissue break down, get it gelatinized or whatever, I don't know how you would say it, but you want it gelatinous, basically is what it is. So let that cook, get nice and tender. That's how you get the pulled pork. You just need to give it time. It's a slow process. It might take you all day long, but it's well worth it.
All right, so at this point, this thing's been on there for about 5.5 hours. What I'm gonna do right now is wrap it. I got a double layer of tin foil. I'm gonna spray it down with a little bit more apple cider vinegar just to keep it moist inside. We're just gonna fold it like that. Place it back on the smoker for an additional 2.5 to 3 hours. Just keep your eye on it. It's gonna speed up the cooking process. It should be done pretty soon. Then we got our barbecue sauce. That's a mustard-based sauce. So I got a cup of mustard, 1/4 cup of Dijon. I got a 1/4 cup of apple cider vinegar, 1/2 cup of brown sugar, teaspoon of chili powder, teaspoon of garlic powder, teaspoon of onion powder, and 2 teaspoons of worchestershire, and a 1/2 cup of honey. Actually, a 1/3 cup of honey. I'm gonna list all the ingredients in the description below, just to make it easier for you guys. All we're gonna do is warm that up, keep it on a really low heat. You don't wanna burn it because there's a lot of sugar in the sauce. Let that go for about 15 minutes. And then we're just gonna put it in a jar, or you can put it in whatever kind of squeeze bottle you have. There it is, liquid gold. All right, for the coleslaw, super basic. I'm gonna do a 1/2 head of cabbage. Just shred that up. I got 1 carrot that I'm gonna use a peeler just to shred that up as well. And then I have a few scallions and a handful of cherry peppers, about 15 cherry peppers. All right, so we got everything in a bowl. What we're gonna do is we're gonna add 4 large tablespoons of mayo. We're gonna salt and pepper it to taste. About a 1/4 cup of white sugar. And then we're gonna do a 1/2 cup apple cider vinegar. Add that all in there. And then also 2 teaspoons of celery salt. Then you're gonna get your Night Stalker gloves on and mix everything up. And we're good to go. All right, so it's been another 3 hours. I can tell it's done. You can just look at the top of the meat right there. Plus you're getting a little bit of separation on the side. I'm gonna let it rest for another hour, let the juices redistribute, and then we should be good. All right, so it's been about an hour, hour and a half. That pork butt had a little time to rest. We're all set, we're gonna pull it now. And then that bone comes right out like I was saying before. So got a dog treat right there. Just gonna set it off to the side. Dig in with our hands. You gotta be a little careful because it's gonna be pretty hot still. Even after resting all that time, it still retains the heat pretty well. I'm just gonna go through there and get any grizzle out, any fat, anything that's not wanted. I'm gonna kind of take it out. And then go back over it with that Killer Hogs barbecue rub. Probably a couple more times. And then just mix it up a little bit more. And we're all set to make the sandwiches and pig out. Oh, and just to keep everything a little bit separated, I'm just having a little pot on the side right here just so I can put the barbecue sauce and mix it separate. That's all that is. Got that liquid gold I'm pouring over the top. Looking beautiful. And that's it. There it is, guys. Another one in the books. I was happy with these sandwiches. You had the fatty pulled pork, you got the sweetness of the coleslaw, a little bit of acidity from the cherry peppers. I mean, everything went together pretty well, I thought. The only thing I forgot to do when I first made this, the top buns, I forgot to put any sauce on it, so I had to go back and do that, as you can see right there. But other than that, I mean, I give this like a 9 out of 10, I guess. I mean, I was pretty happy. If you guys made it through the whole video, I want to thank you guys again. I'll see you on the next video. I don't know what I'm gonna do, but I'll figure it out. Thanks a lot, guys. Peace out.